African players can be found strutting their stuff in almost every league across the world. They're just as revered for their footballing abilities as their peers from anywhere else, and their heritage isn't used as a benchmark for their value. As a result, African football competitions have only grown more lucrative and attracted widespread attention in recent years. However, this wasn't always the case. Once, African football and its players weren't given the stage and respect due to them. But all that changed with one man. I know you'll be dying to find out, so without further ado, let's go. The 2022 Ballon d'Or was an iconic time in the history of the awards. Not just because it was one of the rare times it was won outside of the Ronaldo-Messi dominance, but because of the heritage of the winner. You see, although Benzema is a Frenchman and was the first to clinch the Golden Orb in over 22 years since his last compatriot Zinedine Zidane, there was something unique about both men. Although they represented France for the bulk of their careers, they both share an African heritage, tracing their roots to the sandy shores of Algeria. But this isn't the first time a player of African descent would win the Ballon d'Or as a national of a different country. The first occurrence was in 1965, when Mozambique-born superstar Eusebio, who represented Portugal, clinched the honour after an electric spell with Benfica and the Portugal senior team. At the time, Eusebio became the first black player to win the award thanks to his truckload of goals between the 1960s and the 1970s. In 1965, when he was presented with the Ballon d'Or, he helped Benfica to the Premier League title but missed out on international glory in the European Cup final. However, his heroics in both tournaments was there for all to see, and he walked off with the Golden Boot in both competitions. It took another 22 years after Eusebio's win for another black player to clinch the much-coveted award. This time it was Ruud Gullit in 1987, who had helped PSV to the Eredivisie title before moving to AC Milan on a summer world record transfer. Gullit was instrumental in AC Milan winning the league title the following season. The main black player to make a difference in African football on the international stage, however, would be the third one to win the Golden Orb. In 1995, George Weah became the first black player representing an African nation to win the Ballon d'Or. His win came after the rules of the award were altered to allow more players onto the ballot. However, between 1995 and today, there hasn't yet been another African player to have won the Ballon d'Or. So Weah stands out as the first, last and only player to pull off such a feat. Weah started from humble beginnings in his home country of Liberia, Monrovia particularly. He left his country in 1988, signing under the Arsene Wenger-led Monaco. This move was key in moulding Weah into the lethal striker he became, helping to develop and transform his skills. Beyond his supremacy in front of goal, Weah was also a skillful and creative player, which made him a terror to opposition defences and a delight to his teammates. He'd soon leave Monaco for the capital when he joined PSG for 3 seasons, helping them secure a league title and 2 French Cups. Weah would then move on to Italy, joining AC Milan, where he instantly became a fan favourite at the San Siro. However, what really stamped his name into the legends of the Rossoneri was his wonder goal against Hellas Verona. Weah carried the ball unaided through the entire length of the pitch and slotted the ball home for an incredible goal. His performances between PSG and Milan in 1995 helped him win the most prestigious award in football, marking an historic occasion. Besides the Ballon d'Or award, Weah completed a unique treble, adding the African Player of the Year and the FIFA Player of the Year awards to his roster. An African player winning the Ballon d'Or was a significant turning point for African football and its players plying their trades on their home continent and abroad. It marked a new era in which African players were trusted as valuable additions to the sport, thus paving the way for many more of them. The award was also inspirational to up-and-coming black talents across the world. They now had a new peak to aspire to that they were no longer excluded from. As Thierry Henry explained in 2014 when asked about George Weah, "We are talking about one of the world's greatest strikers. He wasn't playing with a great national team. Less impact, but I'm telling you, raw power, sheer power, technique and speed. I've never seen that. When he was moving on the field, I was moving at home too. The stadium was moving." Winning the Ballon d'Or marked the peak of Weah's career, as he went on to have journeyman spells at Marseille, Chelsea and Manchester City before hanging up his boots in 2003. Upon retirement, Weah was still determined to make an impact and so began a foray into politics. In 2017, he reached a new high for black footballers, winning the elections and being crowned the president of his country, Liberia. George Weah may not have had the trophy cabinet or goal records to match the legends of today like Messi and Ronaldo, who are, quite frankly, freakishly different, but his effect on the game, particularly in terms of opening the door to international football for African players, cannot be understated. If you like what you just saw, please consider sharing and subscribing. I bring you important updates on the world of sports every week, so don't miss out. See you in the next one.